So the movie that we've all been waiting for, that is an anthology that has been waiting well over 10 years now to come out to the public. And a lot of people, a lot of you know and have anticipated this anthology for a very long time. Unearthed has finally released it to the public. It's coming out September 24th. Let's get into it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review and an unboxing of one of the most anticipated anthologies that have ever existed. This is put out by Unearthed Films, and it is the Profane Exhibit. Now, this film was actually conceived in about 2010, and it took all the way till today for us to see it. It has a long kind of storied history that involves with a lot of international directors and some pretty graphic, gory filled stories that are very short and to the point. But I'm going to tell you what I think about each and every one of these and go through it as quick as I possibly can, while kind of brushing you up on what happened with this and why we have it today. So let's get into what I think of this anthology, and then we'll get into all the extras that are included in the disc. Thanks MVD Entertainment and Unearthed for sending me a copy to check out. But let's get into it. So yeah, this one comes out September 24th, so if you haven't pre-ordered it, go ahead and pick up a copy. If you've been waiting to see this movie like I have, this is kind of like a historical film that is finally here. It's taken a long time. Now, this anthology, originally, like I said, it was conceived in 2010, and then around 2012 or 13, they were going to be putting it out or something. There was apparently a lot of people that were pushing it ahead of itself, even though they hadn't even finished it. I think they even said that there was only 4 or 5 shorts in the film. Originally, this movie was supposed to be like a test footage for a bigger film that they were going to make. A person by the name of Amanda Manuel, who was sort of the brainchild of this, she had reached out to special effects guy, writer, director, editor, Michael Todd Schneider to direct this footage, and it ended up turning into an international anthology by one director signing on and wanting to sign on and being a part of this project piece by piece. Morphed into something completely different than what it originally started out with. But this very much is a slice of horror fandom that a lot of people have highly anticipated to come out. Pretty graphic, pretty disturbing stuff that a lot of people may or may not like, especially being that it's almost 14, 15 years in the making. So these shorts are going to be a little bit hard to kind of follow along. It's more like peering in a window and catching something in the middle of the act. You don't really know why it's happening or the story behind it. You're just kind of seeing it like you're peering in a window of a murder scene, and you have to piece it together. A lot of these, you're right in the middle of this short and you don't know why you're in it, but it's just graphic and disturbing. Probably why they call it the Profane Exhibit. A lot of anticipation, so everybody's gonna have a little bit that they expect out of it than others. There are reviews that don't even exist on the format that it is today. This movie is finally finished. It was originally supposed to be about 13 shorts, but it ended up being 1 wraparound and 9 additional shorts, so 10 shorts in all. A lot of people are going to have a lot of expectations on this for a film that's been over a decade in the waiting. There is a lot of people that have been involved in this, and you're going to be curious about it, and it's nice to have a copy that I can add to my collection to say, hey, I was there waiting all this time for this puppy to come out. First up, we have the wraparound story, which is by Jeremy Caston, who did the remake of The Wizard of Gore and Thirst. He did this short segment called Amuse Boucher. I think that's how you say it. I'm not 100% sure. But that one is kind of like a story played in reverse, so you get to see small pieces of it as each segment plays all the way to the end, and then you find out where it kind of started, I guess. The first segment is by Anthony DeBlasi called Mother May I, about 2 girls who are basically in a convent or something where runaway teens or troubled girls have had issues and they try to fix them in this church setting, and they realize that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes with the church than is expected. Some sort of demonic thing going on. It's pretty wild. There's some pretty cool special effects in this one. And if you're not sure who Anthony DiBlasi is, he's the guy that did The Last Shift and Malum. We've had him on this channel, in fact, and interviewed him, who's done a lot of really great work. And he even did a couple of films of Clive Barker's. He actually worked on The Midnight Meat Train, and he also did a movie called Dread, which was awesome. The next one we have is The Hell Chef, which is by Yoshiro Nishimura, who did the Tokyo Gore Police and Meatball Machine. So you know kind of what to expect with the gore and everything in this one. It's a little bit on the nose and fun. You know, we got stars in this one like Ihi Shina, who is the star of Audition, if you ever saw that, from the Masters of Horror, Takashi Miike. And it stars Maki Mizui, who did pass away since the passage of time has happened. This was probably more the fun one, but it definitely has a lot of gore, a lot of cannibalism, and silliness to be had. The next one is probably one of the more disturbing ones, although not graphic as far as like gore. It's called Basement by Uwe Boll. And if you've known Uwe Boll, he's the guy who did the House of the Dead, you know, the live action film. He's done a lot of live action films like Postal. And he also did this movie called Rampage. It's like a trilogy. This one is, it's got some pretty dark stuff in it. Clint Howard's in it as a father. And we even have Caroline Williams from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 playing the mom and dad. And they have a daughter in the basement. It's a pretty nasty things happen, to be honest with you. You'll probably never forget Clint Howard's ass in this one. The next one we have is Bridge by Ruggero Deodato, the Italian director of Cannibal Holocaust. If you've ever seen that, it's pretty unforgettable. And he was asked to do a short in this film, which is probably the shortest short and nothing like you'd expect. There is absolutely no gore in this one. It's just about two kids on a bridge. I don't want to say any more than that. But yeah, a little disappointing considering we're thinking of the Cannibal Holocaust guy, right? The next one we have is Tophet Quorum, which is by director Sergio Stivoletti, special makeup effects guy who did a lot of different movies like Demons and The Sect, and he did Cemetery Man as just a few of the films that he's worked on. And he gets behind the director's chair this time. And he directed a film that's kind of about like the 50s style werewolves and sort of messing with their DNA and kind of making monsters. It's pretty interesting and probably one of the more graphic ones and more disturbingly graphic ones in the batch of them. The next one we get is the sixth one, Good Wife, and that is by Ryan Nicholson, who also passed away in 2019. He's effects guy that turned to director and made Gutterballs, if you know. So this is kind of like a time capsule of horror. Fairly decent. You don't really know what's going on in this one. This one was actually pretty fun. Ryan Nicholson did a good job of kind of doing a dark humor kind of thing in this one and kind of keeping a mystery while adding a lot of nudity in this movie, which I would not expect any less from him at this. We do also get another film called Mors in Tabula, which is the 7th entry or 8th entry if you count the wraparound. And that is by writer-director Marian Dora, who is a German director who's done movies like Cannibal and Blight of Humanity. This one is probably the most well shot out of all of them. It deals with German doctor during the World War III. You know, there's a lot of German propaganda stuff going on in here, but this one's pretty gory and I think looks fantastic. The next one is called Sins of the Father. It's the 8th entry, and it is by Nacho Vigalondo, who is the director of Time Crimes, which was really fun, and also Colossal. And this one's kind of disturbing in the Uwe Boll way, dealing with a metaphor in a way and sort of this thing that there's, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like a Serbian film, but like different. I don't know how to explain that any better without spoiling it. But yeah, there's no graphic gore or anything in this, just a little bit of nudity. The subject matter is a little dark. The next one we get is Mana, which is the 9th entry and the first short in the entire anthology that was made that spurred on this entire anthology to begin with. And that is by Michael Todd Schneider, who directed August Underground's Mortem and was starring in the one before that as Maggot. and he actually shot part of this in Pittsburgh and shot part of it in like Edmonton, where a ton of people I know were in a scene of the industrial scene, and it was like seeing faces I haven't seen in a very long time. In the beginning of my career as a musician, I don't know if a lot of you know this, but I was in a band called Black Ops, which was an industrial hard dance aggro tech band that I used to belong to. So seeing a lot of the faces up there in Edmonton of people that I actually know, it was kind of wild. I think I played the venue that they even used in that movie on that stage, so it's pretty wild. But yeah, the effects in this one are fucking phenomenal. Autumn Cook did these and this film, and I thought this one was probably the more alluring of the bunch in this one. This is the one that stood out the most to me. I think partially because of the pacing, the style, and also, I'm a little biased considering the genre and like all the people that I know that were in it. It kind of made me excited. The very beginning of the movie shows Sebastian Komar from Komar Commando, and at the time, Zombie Girl was really big and famous until that band is no more. There was a bunch of stuff going on about that, but I won't get into that. Amanda Manuel and Todd Schneider sort of worked on this project together, and they kind of became friends over Acid Bath, which I totally fucking related to because I love them. And so this short in particular has like a special place in this anthology for me. It may mean nothing to a lot of other people, but it is kind of a big deal. But yeah, I even have a friend, Renee Robin, who was in this, who is a fantastic photographer. She's a part of that scene up there in Edmonton. So, but yeah, that was pretty much the whole anthology. I enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect. It was, like I said, just peering in the window of a murder happening in each window, and you don't know why it's happening. Little things that are happening in each of these windows. It isn't going to make a ton of sense, and a lot of people are going to be upset with that because they want stories. But yeah, I would say this is about a 6 out of 10. It's nothing that was groundbreaking, but I think that's pretty high for a film that has a lot to offer, a lot of different directors, a lot of people that we love, and some that work, some that didn't, but it was still kind of fun to watch this. And I think where I really enjoyed this release on top of watching the movie was kind of the extras, and I'm going to get into those right now on this set. So let's get into it. So first up, we got the cover here. This is literally the cover. Well, it's changed slightly, but this is the original cover that's done by Chad Michael Ward, who did the artwork on here. I actually posted a post the other day on my personal page, and he commented on it and was like, "Hey, I did that." And I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know that was yours." So I actually have a poster, and I'll show you right here. We actually got this poster. My girlfriend Christina got this like years ago at like some sort of festival. She thinks it was at the San Diego Comic-Con, and we put it up in our CDGB sort of a bathroom that we've created here. So, but yeah, I think the cover looks good. It stands out. The Profane Exhibit, Unearthed Films on the bottom. Here's the side. I got some footage here for you guys to check out so you can kind of see it up close and personal. We got the same kind of picture on the inside, nothing too special here. The side and the back. On the inside, we do have just the plain disc and no reverse, but the extras are where this one shines, and I think there's some pretty fun stuff to check out. So we're going to go into that right now, and I'll play, I'll put the list up here beside me. Now, you're going to get an audio commentary by director Michael Todd Schneider and producer Amanda Manuel, and the Ultraviolet Magazine's Art Ettinger, who has done a lot of work with Unearthed Films and sort of the commentaries as well as the extras in a lot of their work, so you should be pretty familiar with them if you're an Unearthed fan. We also have a world premiere interview, which is where they actually first aired it finally when it was completed I think it was like a couple years ago. They also have a world premiere Q&A where they talk with Amanda Manuel and Michael Todd Schneider. Then they have a 10 Years Later by Marion Dora, which is really well done, sort of documentary that he kind of stitched together with everybody that kind of put together his film. I ended up watching a little bit of that. It's really well done. We also have Sergio Stivaletti's Tophet Quorum. We also have Awakened Mana, which is also Michael Todd Schneider's movie, but kind of like what it was before he fixed it and changed it. And it kind of shows the background of Amanda and him cracking up at it because he was explaining that this is kind of like another movie, I won't say which one, that he was intending to do a sequel to that never ended up happening. And this footage is kind of like the evolutionary step of where this short was going, and it kind of is an homage to another director, which I'll let him tell you. It's really intense, and I thought he did a really good job of kind of explaining it and kind of getting into depth with it. It's pretty awesome. Also in Mana, there was another passing. There was Ben Tater, who was close friends with the director Michael Todd Schneider, who passed away since then. So there's a lot of people that have, we've lost along the way. We also get Tiffany Blim interviews with Michael Todd Schneider, and she also does interview with Uwe Boll and Amanda Manuel, and also Jeremy Kasten. Plus you get the galleries and the trailer that go along with this. This is a older film, a historical film in my opinion, and I think it's worth picking up if you're a fan of horror. I think if you've been waiting for it, even if you're not the biggest fan of every single short in this, I still think it's worth getting and owning a copy of this kind of history, because it's just nice to see things get finished. We just did that Primevals animated movie that was from Full Moon Entertainment that was from the 60s, and now we have this one. It's nice to see that Unearthed came together and they got it finished finally. So that said, I definitely don't think this is for regular anthology horror fans necessarily, because it is a little bit more specific in that it's trying to be depraved and profane and just a little disgusting, and a little bit more leaning into the practical effects side of things, which go pretty dark. So just that said alone, there's going to be a group of people that may not really sink their teeth into this as much as others will, so their score may be even lower than others. But yeah, it's out September 24th. You can pick up a copy for yourself and check it out and add it to your collection. I will put some links down below for you to pick it up for yourself. Thank you again to MVD Entertainment and Unearthed for sending me this copy to review. You guys rock. But yeah, guys, that's a very long-winded thing about this whole anthology, and I kind of wanted to go through it just to kind of give you an idea of what to expect as a horror fan who likes to study these things and kind of like has a collection and watches all the special features. It's just one that I'm glad to have. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear what you think. Have you seen it? Are you going to pick it up? Or were you in this movie? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this video and it was informative for you, please hit the like and subscribe button and the little bell notification to let you know when I got a new video up. We got a lot more. Stay tuned. But thanks for coming by, and as always, long live the void.